Good evening, forecaster Mark Spencer from Ohio News and Weather with your weather forecast for Monday, March 9th, 2026. We're primarily going to focus on the severe weather threat across portions of Ohio for Tuesday and Wednesday in today's video. So we have a threat for severe weather mainly across northwestern Ohio Tuesday, more into the evening and overnight hours. And then on Wednesday, severe storms will be possible once again, mostly across eastern and central Ohio for the most part. We'll talk about both of those in just a moment. And then we're going to turn colder by late week and into the weekend, unfortunately. Old Man Winter's not ready to go away yet, and he's going to get out of here with at least one last hurrah before he goes away for good for the season. All right, current temperatures out there just before 9 p.m. are nothing short of gorgeous for this time of year. Low to mid 60s across much of the Buckeye State, upper 60s in a few spots like Marietta 68, Ironton, and Cincinnati at 67. Otherwise, we're mid 60s for the most part across central and western Ohio, even in northwestern Ohio, and then low to mid 60s depending on where you're at across northeastern and east central Ohio. Temperatures overnight, and we'll look at our tonight forecast coming up in just a couple minutes, aren't going to be too bad out there. Be a pretty nice spring-like overnight, if you will. All right, now let's take a look at our severe weather threat starting with Tuesday. This is going to be across, again, parts of northwestern and west central Ohio. We have a slight risk for severe weather. A marginal risk for severe weather exists for pretty much the entire Buckeye State, except for a few areas here, pretty much right along the Ohio River in southeastern Ohio. That's negligible at this point. This forecast actually runs from basically 8 a.m. Tuesday to 8 a.m. Wednesday. Just kind of keep that in mind. So this is going to be an overnight threat. Much of the day won't be too bad. We'll have some scattered showers here and there, perhaps, but much of the day will probably be dry until later in the day. We'll even see some sun. It'll be quite mild as well. So let's take a look at this here on our future radar. This is just for Tuesday. And you can see dry, not too much. There are a chance for a couple scattered showers. There they are right there as well. And then as we get into the late afternoon and evening hours, there's the storms, and then they're going to continue through the overnight. And this is just going to keep looping. I'm sorry, I couldn't make it stop fast enough, unfortunately. But basically, you're going to see storms move across the northwestern Ohio region somewhere after about midnight. And it could be a little bit sooner than that, so take that time with a grain of salt. We're going to refine that hopefully a little bit tomorrow. And then it's going to go into the early morning hours across the area. What are we looking at threat-wise? Well, we're looking at pretty much a little bit of everything here. But damaging winds, large hail are certainly possible. Damaging winds probably the biggest threat. There is a threat for a few tornadoes, however. Some of these storms may become discrete. Could see some supercell type storms in there. Because that Storm Prediction Center has a 2% risk, that's the green area, for a tornado. However, they started doing this fancy stuff with hatching this year, and the hatching doesn't mean what it used to. It used to mean this was more of an enhanced risk for tornadoes in a sense. Instead, they've actually added a couple more colors, but then they started adding some different hatching. And basically, really all this is doing is outlining where they believe there's kind of the best chance, if you will, for a tornado. But they kind of broke it down a little bit more. It's quite confusing, so we're not going to talk about it. Don't worry about the hatching too much. At this rate, it really doesn't mean a whole lot. Just know that there is a chance across western Ohio, generally along and west of I-75, for a tornado or two with some of those storms. Moving on to Wednesday, we're going to have a slight risk for severe weather across a good portion of Ohio. So pretty much along and east of I-71. However, our slight risk does get further west, and it will likely get a little bit further west than that. This will probably change. If you're watching this Tuesday morning, this is probably already changed. Marginal risk across northwestern Ohio. That's mainly going to be for the morning stuff. The threat here is generally afternoon and evening for the most part, as a strong cold front finally moves across the area. That'll bring much colder temperatures for your day on Thursday as well. Here is our future radar. And again, I apologize if this goes a little bit too fast. I'll tweak it. I'll eventually get it where I like it. But here we are starting out Wednesday morning, right about 7 a.m. Kind of stormy out there in spots. And then there's that nice line of storms moving across pretty much northern Ohio here by early evening. That was about 6-7 p.m. Also a nice line of storms there across central and eastern Ohio, 7-8 o'clock as well. This is primarily a damaging wind threat. However, I would not be surprised if we have a couple isolated tornadoes in there as well. Large hail, probably not quite the concern unless some of the cells can get quite discrete and large, or we get a nice couple supercells that happen to get out ahead of this line. Models are kind of all over the place with this particular setup on Wednesday. So we actually showed you two different models between Tuesday and Wednesday. The model previously I used for Tuesday, for Wednesday barely showed anything. And it's kind of common right now with that, because these are odd setups. So there is some conditions to Wednesday's setup that we kind of need to rectify. We're hoping we kind of get some clarification on that through the day on Thursday. So this could likely change. All right, let's move on. Our forecast for tonight across Ohio. Again, a gorgeous night out there for early March. How about upper 50s north, low 60s inland, upper 50s across portions of southeastern Ohio as well. Don't let this rain icon concern you too much. Clouds are going to increase overnight. It will be mostly cloudy by the morning, but there is kind of a chance for some scattered showers across northern and western Ohio. Could even get down into the Cincinnati area. Not everybody will see rain. Most places probably staying dry, but there is that slight chance. I'll call it about 20-30% odds. Elsewhere, just mainly cloudy skies. And then for your day on Tuesday, again, we got showers across much of the state. There'll be some scattered showers here and there, but again, not high chances. And then when you get into western Ohio, showers and storms late day. We're looking generally dinner time on for the most part, and likely even a little bit later than that. It'll be a pretty nice day, a mix of sun and clouds out there. Temperatures will be warm with a breezy southwest wind of about 10 to 15 miles an hour, could gust to 25 at time. That'll bring temperatures into the 70s across a wide portion of Ohio, except right along the lake will be in the upper 60s. South mid 70s are likely. Okay, and with all that severe weather possible over the next couple of days, here's your quick friendly reminder to stay ahead of the storms by downloading the free Ohio News and Weather app, available on the Google Play Store and Apple App Store.